everybody, and welcome to Let's Build live from Oak Hill Works. How are we all this evening? I hope we are well. The chatbot has started. It has not yet told me. Oh yeah, it's not. No, it's not connected to the chat. Yeah, let's. Well, hey, Alex, the chatbot. Welcome, Alex, the chatbot. Welcome, Javier. Welcome, UK Train Spotting. Welcome, Heritage Railway Productions. Hello, everybody. My God, this is fantastic. 10 people watching at the start of the stream. That does not happen often. The chatbot still has not connected for me. How is everyone doing? And so here we are. Oh, hello Luke, welcome. It is great to see so many people here for the last stream of the year. And in fact, the last stream of the decade. And there are changes coming in the new year. All for the better. We're going to have new equipment. We're going to have other stuff I don't want to mention. But I shall, at some point this week, be ordering a proper camera. So we won't be streaming off the phone anymore. And we should lose that Streamlabs logo out the corner. The chatbot still is not connecting to chat. I'm just going to try restarting it. It would, of course, go this way on this stream, wouldn't it? It couldn't cooperate like it does every other time. It is opening up. 13 people watching, that is fantastic. Right, chatbot says it's connected. Let's hope that it actually has, even though it says the stream is offline. Let's see what happens. I must say my internet has been a bit shaky today, but hopefully everything holds out. So here we are with the i3, which we started way back in, I believe, July, possibly even June. Yes, excellent, thank you, Alex. Those links are coming through on the chatbot just fine. So it is up and running, even though it still says we are offline. Let's just gloss over that. Water. No, not water. Hydration. Hydration is important, Becca. Not necessarily water. So yes, we are here with the i3, which we started either June or July. We emptied this out of its box. And we are here tonight with very little left to do to it. It is very, very likely that before we finish this stream tonight, we will finish this locomotive. I even have the coal sat here ready to go in the bunker. She's got a crew. She needs lining across the bottom. And she needs handrails adding. And that is honestly all she needs. However, any liquid works. Exactly, any liquid works. I have had a message saying that someone is concerned about the transfers and the fact you can see the backing paper. And yes, I will get on with it in a second. I'm addressing your concerns, Becca. Yeah. These transfers are printed on the same transfer sheets that I use for the names on my improved engine green locos, such as the D1. And the name on this did the backing did show just like this before it got its final coating of varnish. As you can see, that has gone away with the varnish. So I'm going to say the same thing's going to happen on this. At least that is what I'm hoping. Fingers crossed, eh? So yes, without further ado, let us bring out the transfers. Be careful with some liquid, it's not helpful. And when I say helpful, I mean drinkable. I mean, all liquids are drinkable, Luke. Some just aren't good for you if you do. What scale is the locomotive? It is 00, which is sort of the UK equivalent of American HO. It's slightly bigger because British locos are smaller and we needed more room to fit motors and stuff into them. But yes, it's 00, so 4mm to the foot as opposed to HO's 3.5mm to the foot. Beautiful locomotive, thank you, Dale. Well, hey, Discord link from Becca. Discord is great, everyone. You should all go check out my Discord. Did wonder what an IG loco was doing lurking in the background, because why not? IEG locos should lurk everywhere. What happens if it doesn't disappear? It will. It will, Luke, it will. Don't say things like that. If you need Gary to comfort you about transfer paper like I need comforting. Some drink will get you into trouble. Indeed, some drinks will get you into trouble. So, we're going to start with a very tricky notion of lining. Along the bottom of the valances here and round the edges of the steps. Because I am that level of insane. And yes, I'm aware the paint is chipped off around there. That can be touched up. It's not a problem. If I touch up the paint now, I can't put the transfers on until it's dry. Some drink you can only drink once. Yes, this is true. So we are going to start with a blade that's cutting very nicely. No, I didn't think it'd be long enough. We shall dip that in another loco. And I'm going to cut off another bit of transfer. For those wondering why this is cutting so well, it's had a new blade. Because obviously it's taken me a few goes to cut everything on the last few. So I felt it was time a new blade was in order. Most of us modelers are insane. Surely you mean all of us modelers are insane? Well, I've never claimed to be a sane person. And it would be lying if I did. And so we have some shorter ones of these here, and I'm hoping that between them, a long one and a short one should be about the right length. That's the hope, anyway. In fact, let's cut a couple of short ones out as well now whilst we're here with the knife. not all. I'll take your word on that. Some more than others. Definitely some more than others. And I definitely put myself up there at the high end of the insanity list. I've been using your painting trick, touching your fingers together works absolutely great. Thanks again. Not a problem, Dale. I am glad it is working for you. It is always good to hear that my techniques are helping others. Of course, as I said, it is a technique I stole. I can't remember where I stole it from, but I did steal it from somewhere. Oh yeah, we can glue the roof on tonight as well. Although I feel the roof falling off this loco has become a bit of a staple thing for the stream. I'll tell you what, it's never fun to work with long transfers. Although that's not gone too bad, and now that it's off, it shouldn't be too hard to manoeuvre it into place, as it's not gone and got anywhere else. I should have put the other long one in the water whilst doing this one. As we will want to do that one before trying to attach anything to the end of this. I'll just give this one some time to dry in place and get stuck. And there we go, the bottom of the valance has lining most of the way there. I think I was, now I know I am. Yes, Christopher, that's how I feel about insanity. I, for one, mix Warhammer 40k and N-scale model trains. Wow! That is some impressive eyesight to be able to do then. Clean the roof now, that is madness. Indeed, Christopher. Some buffering on my end. Yes, 'tis jumping a bit. So will 00 run on HO track? Yes, 00 runs on HO track. In fact, Pico sell their HO track as 00 in the UK. So I'm now going to take this short one and just work out how long it needs to be. With a bit of overlap, it doesn't even want cutting down, to be honest. So it runs on the same as HO. The scale is slightly larger, so it means the wheels are slightly closer together than they should be. But it was a compromise made at the time. So, yes, I'm going to put the jumping down to the fact my internet has been, as I say, absolutely terrible today. If I'm being completely honest. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do about the buffering and jumping. There we go, that one was nice and easy. Might have to switch to some of that. It is a very nice hat. I am quite a fan of the British 4mm to the foot. To be honest, my favourite scale, to be honest, would be 3mm. Or 3mm fine scale, to be specific, rather than the TT. I am quite a fan of that, having played with a few 3mm fine scale layouts at exhibitions. YouTube's been glitchy later, as my internet has dropped out completely a few times today. I'm going to take this moment where we are 20 minutes in to remind everyone hydration is important. The chatbot would like to see you hitting that like button, everybody. And if you're not already subscribed, then a tap on the subscribe button and the notification bell would be absolutely fantastic whilst you are down there. I won't ask you to comment because we're in a live stream. We don't do comments here. But I really should occasionally push the YouTube stuff. So yes, some likes, and as I do love the support. Of course, when I am running the streams, I have the chatbot open. So I can't actually see how many of you are liking, etc. I do always enjoy having a look after the stream, though. If you are watching after the stream, please do comment. Yes, Christopher, good point. If you are watching after the stream, comment is very much appreciated. I know that there have been a few comments left on live streams after the event in the past, so it does happen. And it is only now that I'm noticing the short lining and the long lining are slightly different. This locomotive was a kit you built yourself. Indeed, the entire build of this has been done on live streams. There has been no work done to this that isn't live. So you can in fact go back and watch all the work being done. I wouldn't advise it, it's been going on quite a while. But yes, this is a kit built by me on stream. Once this is done, there's a few small projects to get out the way. There's a wagon, there's a couple of detailing projects on some ready to run stuff. And then we will be going in with a new loco kit to show some techniques that are slightly different to this one. So there will be a chance to watch a loco kit all the way through again in the near future. All it needs is for us to get this one finished first. And there we go, valance lining is on, all the way front to back. So the next step is to line the steps and get the handrails on. She's actually done once the handrails are on and the steps are lined. You'll need a spray of matte varnish, but that will happen through the week separately to this. With any luck, it'll come up on Tuesday's video, because I actually don't have a video for Tuesday yet. Not good. Not good at all. Sounds like a great time. I'll tell you what, building this has been a great time. I hope everyone else has enjoyed it too. The fact there are so many people here in chat tells me it's quite likely that it has been enjoyed. So, where are the ones? There's the ones I want. They're down this end. We have lining transfers for the steps. They're not going to be the easiest to cut out. Luckily, we don't need many. You can't quite tell on the camera, but they are actually two separate transfers. There is a gap just down the middle of them there. Well, whilst we have so many people here tonight, of course, as is known, I have two locos that are currently planned as stream build projects. However, for technical reasons, I'm having to cancel a planned Tuesday video series, which has kind of set me back a bit from where I was with filming. So I am thinking of taking one of those loco kits. No, don't do that. Transfer, that's not good. and instead building that off camera and using it for Tuesday videos with updates and perhaps a few bits that are different to other things done on video as per the D1 last year. But first, I'd like to know what everyone thinks of that idea. Are you desperate to see me build all my locos on stream? Right, that seems about the right size for there, and hopefully this will be, yes, excellent. So they will form the lining around the bottom steps. Or half the lining around the bottom steps, I should say, whilst we wait for those to soak a bit. I will cut out the next set. I say go for it. Thank you, Christopher. And there goes the very tip of the knife. I really enjoy it. I'm glad you enjoy it, Dale. It is always good to hear people are enjoying what I'm doing. So we do have plenty more non-loco kits to build on stream as well. Because of course, all my locos need something to pull. There are carriage kits, there are in fact carriage bashes. There's some scratch building to do. And there's some very different stuff that I'd definitely like to look at on stream. So I am going to take the first one of these out. Once we've got that on, I will put the two new bits in. Whilst we take the second one out and get that on. So the lining transfers can be manipulated quite easily into place. Oh, thank you, Alex the chatbot, for posting those links. Kai, you're really going with them this evening, aren't you? Sure, the chatbot has something to say for himself at some point. So yes, let's get these two new ones we've cut in the water whilst we get this one out. Chatbot personality matrix.exe not found. Now, Alex, we both know you're going to be feeling better by the end of the night, because you always do after coming and watching a live stream. So sit back, relax, hydrate, and enjoy. And there is the chatbot wanting to say something for itself. It wants to promote my Twitter account. So yes, you can see we now have half-lined bottom steps. And if we go round to the other side, we shall half-line these bottom steps as well. Of course, we're not preparing the next set first, because we need to give the transfers time to set before layering more on top of them. So there is that one in place. This one needs to be turned round. There we are. And so, just like that, we have half-lined bottom steps on this side too. So the next job we will do is to start the lining on the top steps in much the same way. But first, what I want to know is, do all you wonderful people out there in the land of YouTube have any projects you are working on this evening? Please do tell and fill my chat up with your excellent things you are doing. Text form, obviously, because YouTube as yet will not let you post pictures. And the ability to post links in my chat has always been broken. I, meanwhile, need to work out which transfers are right for the top of these steps. Dalek parts. Interesting. And how is that going? I do want all the details. I must say, I'm not seeing anything obvious as the right shape for the top of these steps. You can post pictures in the Discord. You can indeed, Becca. Well said. You can post pictures over in my Discord. It has a channel just for that. About to go fit some couplings to some stock. Couplings are good, Luke. All stock should have couplings. Just modified the stats. Excellent. Glad to hear there are people out there getting on. I'm just looking at this one that Linny did the lining on for me, and nothing is jumping out as being the transfer they used. Because they have got it shaped very, very nicely. Good evening, James. How are you this evening? You join us with some lined valances and the start of the stairs lined. I think I might be able to make something from these that's the right shape. Might start sculptor mould this week. Excellent. Good to hear. Always a good time of always a good amount of progress on a layout when you're getting to that stage. It's quite an exciting time. Well, that didn't go where I wanted it to. Only temporary ones though. Couplings are couplings, Luke, as long as they're there. Slightly under the weather today, hoping to be able to relax with a spot of eye-free delight. Well, I hope it can help you relax, James. And I'm glad you approve of my lined valances. Let's see if we can slice that in a straight line. There we go, that bit's gone. And hopefully not damaged the section of the transfers I want to use. Hope all is well in Garyland. Having some internet issues, but other than that, yes, everything is good. In better news, for those that were here last week, my phone is currently 100% charge. What a fun stream that was. There will be no action movie tension today. Oh dear, these are already sliding off. Because I accidentally dipped them in the water earlier. Gosh, I'm out some way from sculptor mod stage, not even finished all the track work yet. Just for layout number 1. So my favourite time of any layout build is once the track is all down and you can just test it for a little while. Remember last week's action film like ending? It was good, wasn't it? When our hero, the Charger, suddenly kicked into life and saved the day. Right. I'm going to cut this about here. This has already come off the sheet. Yes, I think if I take just a tinsy bit off the top of that, measuring by eye, yes, that looks good. Test the layout. It is great, isn't it? So I definitely think that's my favourite part of a layout build. It's that moment when you lay the last bit of track and you get on with testing. Now, this was only very slightly damp, so hopefully it has enough of its glue left on it that I can still apply some water and activate it. Have a few little bits wired in so far so I can test a small corner of it. Excellent. Going round nicely, and the fireman poking his head out at you, wondering what you're doing. Gosh, those are complex areas. Indeed they are. I'll tell you what, that Marsh, when he was designing this lining, he was not thinking about people that wanted to make little models of it in the future. It's very inconsiderate of him, if you ask me. In particular, I can test my emergency stop button. Always good thing to be able to test. Had 2 more emergency stop buttons for Christmas. Oh, excellent. 1 for each layout now then. I imagine that model makers were perhaps not at the top of his list of priorities. From what I understand, Marsh in particular had interesting priorities. I believe he did, yes. I believe he did indeed have interesting priorities. Oh yes, I always think it's very inconsiderate of all these Victorian and Edwardian CMEs that they didn't think of future modelers wanting to make models of miniature models of their engines. Three emergency stop buttons for different parts of the same layout. Ah, okay. Its priorities rumored to include his wife's laundry business and a certain steam boiler abstracted from Brighton works used for the same. Yes, I have heard that. I have heard that. Thankfully, we have people like Ian who make transfers for us to make this job a lot easier. Because I'll tell you what, my Stroudley lining, when I had to do that myself, that was not a fun job. And there is the bot to remind us hydration is important. Now, I'd hate to give everything away, but wouldn't it be great if you could buy mugs with hydration is important written on them? I approve of people who make the job a lot easier. Yes, so do I, James. So do I. And from what I understand, said person is having a fantastic time over in New Zealand. I do not think I could manage with a bow pen. I'll tell you what, James, I'm terrible with a bow pen. I'm better with a small paintbrush than I am with a bow pen. Carrybot 3.0 lives. It does indeed live. We had some issues with it at the start of the stream. He had to be restarted, but he does in fact live. Yes, the kid does. Thank you, Moderate. Freehand line is fine if you know what you are doing. I don't believe I ever claimed to know what I was doing, Christopher. It is fine if you know what you are doing. That doesn't make me the type of person that knows what they're doing. Gosh, New Zealand, farthest one can get from the UK without going into space. Indeed, and in fact, space is closer than New Zealand. Believe at times the ISS is actually closer than New Zealand. There's a weird thought. Right, let's pop this over to... Let's first show you how it is very nicely lining up with that transfer we have cut. Pop it over to the other side. And get ready to do the same. So that wants to be cut about there. If that's directed to me, thank you. And how's your i3 getting on? I haven't removed the command from last week, Javier. It's still there. So feel free to drop a link. Exclamation mark Javier will give you a link to the Shapeways shop. Hey, and there we go. Everyone gets links in. Yes, the Shapeways shop where you can now find a 3D printed i3. Three links if people all type at once. Exactly. Gosh, the i3 is already there. Indeed it is, James. Forgot to upload the other full version. I did have that copyright issue earlier. Boo, copyright issues. Love Shapeways. Yes, indeed, Dale. And in fact, I have one of Javier's locos from Shapeways here to build in a future stream. I've just got to buy the parts for it first. Read it now, I've navigated around it. Thankfully, aha, found the smoke box door. Disapprove of copyright, yes. Well, my knowledge of copyright came out on my Discord the other day when the copyright issues happened for Javier. And it was definitely one of those cases where nothing should have been a problem. But that's copyright for you at times, isn't it? I suppose something is a brand associated with that. Indeed, and that does seem to be the case, and that is one of the issues with copyright. Is people having bots that automatically flag stuff. If your model uses shell, which is greater than 1 mil in width in places, use iMaterialize instead. I've got to go. Had a good final stream of 2019. Thank you for joining us, Becca. Has been great having you here. Sleep well, etc. And I hope to see you in the first stream of 2020. In fact, I hope to see you on Discord before then, but shh. There are some interesting things on your Shapeways shop. There are indeed some interesting things on Javier's Shapeways shop. There we go, that one is cut about right. E4X, E4, yes indeed, they are all very intriguing. I see I'm a bit more of a tram model site as opposed to a model site. Javier's, possibly all three, the E4, E5 and E6X, can all be seen on RM Web. I'm trying to think what his thread's called, Javier. I don't suppose you know offhand, do you? Because they are very fine models that have been made from it. And of course, those models on that thread are the first time I ever came across your work. And I was very impressed then. Fred and RM Webb is... That's the one, James. Churminster and Stowe Magna Railway. A fantastic thread. Chap who is trying to build every single type of SR locomotive ever in model form. That is the yes, that is the thread. That is the person I was thinking of, and I am subscribed to that thread, as am I, James. Too fast to model something. Yeah, I remember your thread under that title, Javier. Already touching the while. Ironic title was meant to signal me being more active in posting. Well, there we are. Those halves are done. So what we now need to do is go back to the bottom steps. I'll tell you what you need to do to speed yourself up, Javier. If you find yourself working too slow, what you do is you start a YouTube channel and you start doing live streams regularly. Even if it's only for a few hours a week, you find you get a lot more modelling done than you would otherwise. I think that's the chap that ordered on my Lord Nelson smoke deflectors from Shapeways. Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed. Of course, for those that aren't aware, me and him have similar goals, just with different years. And I honestly doubt I shall ever get round to completing the London and South Western. But I'll certainly have a good selection of locos from them. The London, Brighton, South Coast is currently priority 1. The Chatham is priority 2. Or I should say the South Eastern Chatham as opposed to London, Chatham and Dover. But I do already have a couple of London and South Western locos, and it would be nice to expand that eventually. However, they don't fit in with any of my modelling currently. CAD Stream is something I've considered, but AutoCAD is too slow for something like that. Oh, that's a shame, Javier, because, I have watched CAD streams from a couple of CAD artists I know in the past. And I do find it very interesting to see how people go about doing these things. Do like the LSWR and the LB&SCR, obviously. Yeah. Brighton, obviously. Everyone likes the Brighton. Maybe a Blender stream in the future if I can get set up proper. Ew, excellent. LCDR is my favourite. Yes, I can tell, Killian. I can indeed tell. And it is not a bad thing at all. I have a couple of LCDR projects for the future. Both need a little bit more investigation, but I'm mostly there with what I'm doing for them. The LSWR did have some interesting locomotives. Indeed it did. The T9 is a delight, obviously. Yes. Yes, it is. But also things such as the L12 and the S11 and the K10. Yes, indeed. I do approve of Spot Blender. Yep, so do I. I love a spot of blender, especially if you put some ice cream, some milk, maybe some strawberries in it. Oh, you meant the application blender. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I approve of that too. You've seen Cham's website, it's really cool. Yes, it is, Gary Bot. It's very cool. ACSF, Chicago says that. Chico says Santa Fe all the way. Of course, Christopher. Hydration is important, everybody, as we enter the second hour of the stream. Do you blend, Gary? I have used Blender in the past. I'm not very good at it, though. Good evening, Linny. Welcome. How are you this fine evening? I mean, I've seen what you've been saying on Facebook, so I've got an idea of how you are. And there is the bottom step done. Blending can be great fun. Indeed it can, James. Indeed it can. So let's get the second bit on the bottom of this step. We have, of course, forgotten to cut the next lot off. Good, it's also moved all the furniture apart from one piece of new flat, built the bed up again. Excellent. Gosh, line steps indeed, James. It is possibly the most detailed work I have ever put into a locomotive's lining. Just like that. There is the front one done. No longer have to sleep on the couch. Woo! Always a good moment. So let's get what are going to be the last two bits of lining for the bottom steps cut out, and we can do the other side. So I bet you're looking forward to sleeping in a bed again then, Linny. There we go. As I know I would be. Even if you have a couch as comfortable as mine. Hopefully the lag isn't too bad for everyone. I'm going to take a moment again to remind everyone how much I love it when people click like. Only takes you a second, but it leaves a... Oh, there's a mark on my screen there. That's okay, it's just a bit of fluff. You know, it really means a lot to me, that second you spend looking down and pressing like. Looking forward to it. I'm already in bed. Fair enough, Lenny, fair enough. Listening to the karaoke from the pub down. Yeah. There are disadvantages to living above a pub. My couch is not as comfy as yours. Oh, that's a shame. I do love my comfy couch. Way too much water come out with that. So watching 8 lights come off its arrival. Come and sing at you if you haven't hit like. Thanks, Lenny, for the idea here of threat to give. Yeah. And there we go. That is another bottom step line. A spotter surfactant can make decals easier to handle. Indeed it can. But that would require me to remember to order things like that. And now is not one of those times where I remember things. Which is a problem, because I actually have some ordering that I have to do for the channel this week. That's right, to all my Patreons, I am going to be spending your money again. Fancy way of saying washing up liquid. I've got a bit of washing up liquid in here. Do you not have a stock of washing up liquid? So there is a bit of washing up liquid in here. I approve of fancy ways of saying things. Yeah, but you say things fancy ways and then people like you who know what you mean. Whilst I may be a southerner, I'm a country southerner. Let's pick it up, spin it round, and watch Linny cringe as we cut up some more transfers. Because Linny will have done this properly, not the way I do it. Yeah. So I say, Linny will not be approving of this. Linny will be going, no, why are you cutting up those transfers? That makes no sense at all. No cringing here, I'm just glad I'm not having to do it. So you know how to do it properly though, Linny. Surfactant, basic ingredient of soap, the stuff that reduces the surface tension of water and allows water to cling more effectively to dirt molecules. Fair enough, James. I will try my best to remember that. I will make no guarantees, but I will try. So yes, Linny, I'm using these transfers for the sides of the top steps. And they are giving me a rather nice shape. Best hits Australian Cat Ensemble. Yeah. It's a very real threat, folks. I had to sign an agreement with the UN promising not to sing. Well then, no singing. You can't threaten us with singing if the UN have banned it, Christopher. What would they have done if you didn't sign? Hey, it worked. So sing is an anagram of sign. It is. I made me listen to a recording of myself. Brilliant. The ultimate punishment. So, Christopher, I notice I'm going to have to make you a moderator on Discord again. I did see that message pop up earlier. No getting back in practicing. It's good to have you back. Hydration is still important, folks. And whilst you wait for transfers to soak, is a good time to hydrate. In fact, every time is a good time to hydrate. Indeed, Killian, and I've not even told him how many people messaged me asking me if he was okay. There we go, that is that step fully lined. Won't it look good once we get rid of this shine? I quite like Japanese stuff, Christopher, as I've said before, much missed. Indeed, Killian, his Japanese stuff is rather fantastic, isn't it? That's fine, and there's Gary Bot promoting the Patreon, where soon there will be an actual benefit. And I say an actual benefit. Patreons do already get a nice fancy green name on Discord. And access to the voice channel. But, and in fact, Patreons know what the thing is that's coming in the new year that will give them an additional benefit. Then again, everyone on my Discord knows that. It's a good place to be, Discord. Do I? Do you what? Get a fancy green name on Discord? You would if you weren't a moderator, yes. And I have to manually set it up to give you the fancy green name. So by signing up to Patreon and Discord, you make me do extra work. And there is a link to the Discord. Yes, my moderators get blue names, Christopher. I can give you a green name if you want, but it will take away but you won't get your moderator. Well, thank you for all the links, Alex. That is very much appreciated. I've actually just given you your moderator powers back, Christopher. By the way. And there is another fully lined step. So there we have this side done. The end of the transfers. There are only 2 transfers left to put on this locomotive. This is scarily close to being done, guys. Been spending the last few days adding all the possible types GWR, Prayer Simutrans Extended. Oh, excellent, James. Always good to see more things being added to stuff like that. Gosh, have front steps do too. Indeed I do, James. Good evening, Richard. Welcome. How are you this evening? It is good to see you here. Looking good so far, Gary. Thank you, Richard. I'm actually just suddenly hit with this realisation that this loco is nearly finished. After all this time. I'm being completely honest. Very much our being nearly finished, mean you now need to finish the layout to run it on. But the layout that my Umber engines will be run on will of course be Hailsham, and honestly, that's many, many years away from being finished. That doesn't mean it won't see action on other layouts in the meantime. I mean, hopefully it's not too many years away from being finished. I would say it's at least 2 years away from being finished. Very well, thank you. Looking forward to seeing her run, no doubt. Oh yes, very much looking forward to seeing her run finished. Layout is never finished. That is true. But so far, all that Hailsham is track down and electrics done. I need to sort out my final adjustments to my drawings for the buildings and get them sent over to Linny so that they can be CAD'd up properly. Hopefully what I send won't be too far from 3 scenic base boards been put together. I'm glad to hear they're all together, Linny. Is that Earth years or Mars years? That is very much Earth years. Hailsham now is, as a project, is 5 years old. So hopefully it won't be too far in the future where all that planning and designing and redesigning comes to fruition. Seems to be getting intermittent lag. Oh, that is not good to hear. That will be my end, no doubt. As I said, I've been having some internet trouble today. Which has genuinely had me worrying most of the day about that's my lag. Yes, I'm getting intermittent lag. Can confirm lag. Oh, that's good as well. Oh, that's good as well, and I am as well. Excellent. I approve of things coming to fruition. Yes. So I say there's been a lot of planning. There's been a lot of designing and redesigning. And in fact, there's been a very large amount of money spent because I had the baseboards made professionally. As it is to be an exhibition layout. So there was no point letting my inferior woodwork ability drag it down. Actually made the tweaks I need to make to the drawings and sent them off to Linny, and we can start working out have some kits from Linny done from them. That should start to move the layout forward. Woodworking ability isn't too bad. Not anymore, it isn't, Linny. When I had the Hailsham baseboards built, I could not cut in a straight line. That was then, this is now. Again, remember, we're talking like 5 years ago. Back before I could even model properly. Back when I modelled the 50s, because the idea of building kits scared me. And now I do it on a weekly basis live. And ladies and gentlemen, the last transfer is on. The final transfer is in place. Next job is the handrails. Now, these were the holes for the handrail knobs were drilled out some time ago. I have no doubt that those holes are now filled with paint, and so the handrail knobs will not go in. Let's try and not beat the camera up too much as I grab the box. Now we just need the roof to fall off again. Ah, I'm not falling for that. Next time that roof goes on is glue. Does it have the does it have buffer beam numbers? Shush. You're making me remember things I've forgotten. Handrail knobs. Glazing. Handrail wire. One of them will be enough. The couplings, for which the springs and split pins are not in here, but that is fine. I've got plenty of them. That's bad, Linny. It is. It's bad, Linny. Goodness me, oh my! I hope that's not the battery warning. No, we're not having any battery warnings tonight. The battery is still at 100%. The chat bot says hydration is important. Which must put us about halfway through the stream. So, handrail knobs, windows, roof, handrails. Those are our targets for tonight. Those are definitely very, very full of paint. At least big enough. Oh no. The world's most famous pin is missing. That's the right size for poking holes for handrail knobs. Where is the world's most famous pin? Hello everyone, says Robert. Hello Robert, welcome. How are you this evening? It is good to see a new face here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You join us just as I realise I've lost my pin that I used to poke holes with. I might actually have to use one of the drill bits. I left that handrail knob lying out, didn't I? And now I'll never see... Oh, there it is. That looks the right size to me. But it also looks to be stuck. There we go. It's gonna be way too small for my drill to hold it though. Yes, that's something else I need to invest in. Is some new chucks for the hand drill. I used to have two, one of them disappeared, and this one is rather worn. And the hole is way too big in it now. I can just drop that straight in and out. Doing... Possibly need a pin vise. Oh, that is a pin vise. Indeed it is. But I need some new chucks for it. Yeah, that is the right size. These. I'm gonna have to put the glasses on. So Christopher, have you been dragging all the Americans over to my stream today? I thank you for doing so. Excuse my neolithic monkey brain, can't you wrap paper around the bit inside the chuck? I have tried that before, Javier. Do not worry about that neolithic monkey brain. I have tried that before. Unfortunately, the first time it twists, it tears. Now, this is the wire included in the kit for doing this. I am getting the distinct impression that it is too thick. Luckily, I keep a supply of 0.4mm. Slightly burred on the end. No, and these aren't quite what I need. To be able to get rid of that. No, those ones are no good. 0.4mm, I say, is indeed the size you want for the handrail knobs supplied with the kit. The handrail wire it comes with is most definitely slightly thicker than that. There is not much in it, but definitely something. Let's try again. Oh, look, that has gone through this time. So perhaps the handrail knob was burred as well. This were. Believe there is supposed to be one just behind here. It might be showing better on my old one if I have a look. Yes, there is indeed what's supposed to be one behind there. This is where as that would make very quick work of this. I believe we now have enough of a gap there, enough of a hole there though. Yeah. Hopefully these ones won't be as awkward to get through. That one obviously should not be full of solder as the other one was. Obviously this one is. So, anybody know if they have a name for those rounded southern roofs? What style? Because there were a few roofs on the southern. Didn't know there were multiple choices. Well, where have I put the box? There's the box. The ones the iFreeze used. Well, there's even a choice there. There's that one. Or that one. The iFreeze had two different roofs. So there's the as-built roof or there's the rebuilt roof. I'm assuming you mean the ones that were as-built. But when it comes to the southern, you've got the later rebuilt roofs, you've got the clerestories they were built with, you've got the pagoda style of the Southeastern and Chatham, you've got the Stroudley style, and we've not even covered the LSWR yet. Oh no, I'm talking the really southern ones, the rebuilt ones. I do not. I can't even remember who rebuilt them. They are just an arched roof though. There's nothing special to their shape. Can we have some focus here please, camera? Yeah, they are just a single arc roof. All those roofs and none of them fell off. I must be getting better at this, he says, whilst frantically looking round for that drill bit that he's now plainly lost forevermore. There it is. There were certainly triple arc roofs in use in places. I prefer the rebuilt roof. Something I don't like about the clerestory vent on the other one. Well, you would. You're a strange boy, Luke. You like the London and North Eastern. Right, let's grab 3 more handrail knobs. I always prefer to grab these by reaching in and pulling them out rather than tipping things out, because then things don't tend to go missing quite as often. That would be much easier with a pin vise. It would, if only I hadn't lost the smaller chuck for it. I must get a new one. This would be much easier if I could see people in my Discord. A link can be found by typing !Discord for anyone interested in joining the server. There we go, got it. Oh, come on, you're on. No, that's not the way to go. No, that's still not the way to go. There we go, it's on properly. All four are on. Where's your sense of adventure? Yeah, it's weird how I don't want all these things to go missing, isn't it, Christopher? I approve of things going missing less often, as do I, James. Discord, donate, Patreon, website and Twitter links. Thank you, Alex. That is very much appreciated. I've been told Bornsel is the man, so I can probably use that. I would expect so. If he's the man that did it, I wasn't sure who it was. Mainly because I don't know Southern CMEs very well. But I would expect that is all the information you need. Right then, there's one in the right place. Now this again is where the pin would come in handy. Just looking around for something to use as an alternative. So I'm going to blob some glue down on the desk. I know what I can use as an alternative for this part. One of the spouts that I never use. Just stick a tiny blob of glue either side of the handrail knob. Got my foot to it. Right, that's that place. So again, tiny dab of super glue. Of course I've knocked it out of place now, haven't I? Much better. Barks festively. Hello, Code Monkey. How are you this evening? Now I can hold that one in place whilst getting the glue on it. Lag again. Unfortunately, at this stage, there is nothing I can do about the lag. As I say, I've been having internet troubles throughout the day. I'm just glad we haven't completely dropped out. I'm also going to have to cut this one down slightly. And I can then cut down the handrail itself. Making progress, all is well. Excellent. And we have a handrail. I wish you'd stop sliding around to the blooming bench, and I'm sure people listening in do as well, that horrible squeaking you're making. So we're just going to apply a tiny bit of super glue. Get them all back in place, and there we are. Our first handrail is on, ladies and gentlemen. The kists again. Poking the holes in the front where there is a straight handrail. It does not curve round with the smoke box. It does look, yeah, it does look good with the handrail. It does, doesn't it? And it'll look even better once we stick a tiny bit of paint over the top. Now, I'd like to remind everyone, I planned on poking my pin through to clear the paint out of these holes, which would have worked fine, but I can't find it. Right, they are going to need cutting to about half length, but that's fine, we can do that. Their connection to the model won't be quite as strong, but I'll be honest, I don't intend on hanging off them much, so it shouldn't be a problem. That one is okay. Agreed, the handrail makes it look much more finished. It does. I think I'm going to have to head, I'm afraid. Night all. Good night, Linny. Thank you for coming by. It has been fantastic having you here. Sleep well. Enjoy having your bed back. Wednesday Adams says, excellent work. Good. Excellent work, good sir. Thank you very much, Wednesday Adams. I say there's been a lot of new faces in the chat, or well, names in the chat tonight, and it is absolutely fantastic to have lots of new names in the chat. So, welcome. How are you this evening? Thank you for joining us. Gonna have to put my glasses back on again, aren't I? Oh, and there is a link to my Streamlabs tips page. It's all the way through, but it's decided it's going to stay where it is. That's irritating. Very well, thanks. Was recommended your channel recently. Great content. Thank you very much. Glad to hear my channel is being recommended, and I do hope you enjoy. Hydration flux kittens. There is something on here. I can't quite seem to get it off by hand, so I'm just going to scrape it with the knife. There we go. Now trundling around happy again. New people have no idea what all this is about. Indeed they won't, James. But hopefully they will stick around long enough to learn what all these jokes are about. You get cream for that. Double cream, perhaps kittens will enjoy it. They will. The O2 has KD front and rear correct. Ugh. No. If not, they'll be included. Nice. Selling Luke your O2, are you, Christopher? This one really does not want to go. I've got spare cases for this later. I tend to use them. Well, if you're disposing of your UK stuff now, Christopher, I wouldn't advise it, but you know, you do you. I'm not going to stop you, but if you are, I'd like to discuss your London and North Western kits with you, if possible. Right, if I can't get this to go through, I'm going to change handrail knobs. Oh, it's gone through that time. See, it does want to be on the loco. And there we go, that puts them both in the correct place. So we will come back with the tiny blobs of super glue again. Don't tell me you intend on modelling the Premier line, Gary. Oh, some specific things from it, Killian. Looking forward to getting the O2. Put Coltrane once away, couple together. Coltrane! Robson O2 Gresley. Yeah, unfortunately, Luke models the inferior railways. But yes, Killian, there are some specific London and North Western things I would like, and it just happens that I know Christopher has kits of them. Like the little saddle tanking photo at Victoria Station. Oh, I would love that. And there we go, we have a handrail on the front. Inferior, the lesser northeastern. Exactly, James. Jazz music has ceased. Yes. Unfortunately, I can't play any Coltrane on stream. It doesn't. It's nothing like the WC and PR. Shush you. I am going to refill the hydration vessel, everyone. Fitting handrails to iFreeze makes you thirsty. So make sure that you do hydrate, because hydration is important. There we go, the bot said that a few minutes ago. Wasn't that nice of it? Yeah, I've got a lot of scanning to do, Killian. They're in my pile. Those pics of 115 are in my pile to be scanned. So, did just order the DVD copy of the mag with the drawings in, still waiting for those. I take it that would be the links I sent you for the magazine, Killian. Yes, the pictures of 115 are in my pile of stuff to scan, which I should hopefully get round to doing this week. There's a lot of it. Got redundant cages elsewhere, Chris, yeah. WCPR as well. Water closet and pop the railway. Excellent, James. No rush at all. Good, I'm glad. Hopefully it'll get done this week. They're part of my, whilst I'm skiving off work at Christmas time, stuff to do. You're not the only one waiting for stuff to be scanned from me. Kits are still not here as it happens. Well, tell them to hurry up so you can then send them to me. Can I take them off your hands? Yes, that's it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm glad you've got that, Killian, because you're exactly the sort of person that's going to enjoy that. There we go. Oh, we've really got to stop scuffing this loco, you know. All this work we've put in, and we're going to have to put loads more paint on it. Oh God, I've glossed over this one. Literally. Everyone was already using those KDs as ammunition to a rubber band catapult. Your Oprah's moved up to the next in line, by the way, now that I have the drawings masculine. Oh, excellent. Excellent indeed. Impressive. Dropped it and got it stuck underneath the loco. I only had to go up to get under there, but still impressive. Now we know this one's not going to drill out properly. And we know the last one I've got to do isn't going to drill out properly. There's obviously a lot of solder tucked in behind this one. And I know there's lots of solder in round the other one. Although at least I can see the hole properly. Unlike on the other side where I couldn't see it at all. That's gonna have to do there. That's not budging at all. My Shapeways upload had a misfire. Oh no! Oh no 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 no! That's not good, Javier. Tell you what, I watched a video about 4 years ago. 4 years or so ago, saying how rubbish Lifelike is, and here I am with an £8 switcher running better than many other locos I've owned in N. Of course, that is always the way, is it not, Christopher? There's the bot saying hydration is important again. Tuesday it seems to be... Oh, you're going to Hendon on the morrow. Hendon, and you never told me. I mean, I can't afford a trip to Hendon this week, but it is only like an hour away from here. It's Discord. I'm sort of missing the entire engine. That's an interesting thing to be missing, to say the least. This appears to be the end I haven't cut. I always keep my cutting to one end so that I've got a nice clean end to thread with. Not that that seems to solve issues tonight. It must be super glue or something getting on. Yes, so expect pictures of aircraft, everyone. I will look forward to pictures of aircraft. No, there's still more on here. No, Luke, I'm not describing you. I said there is more on here. Hendon, closer than both New Zealand and space. Indeed it is. There we go. That's on. But yes, if you always cut the same end of the wire, then you always have an end that is free from any burrs caused by cutting. Giggles. Aircraft, 75% as fun as railways. Oh, I don't know, I've had a lot of fun in aircraft, James. Wire cutting end tip duly noted. Good, good. So it's one that became really obvious after I learnt it. Where have I put me glue thingy? There it is. Out of politeness, I'll refrain from asking precisely what fun you've had in aircraft. At this point, James, I will point out my previous service of Her Majesty. No, nothing impolite. Well, when you've broken the sound barrier, things become fun. Oh, that sort of fun. Yes, that sort of fun. Well, I'm not a fan of commercial airline flight, personally. So, fun on them is very restricted for me. Oh, stay in the hole. There we go. There are more aeroplanes in the sea than there are submarines in the sky. This is true. This is very true, Killian. There are indeed more aeroplanes in the sea than there are submarines in the sky. I always thought that was a myth. No, it is most definitely true. And as a crasher of two aeroplanes, I can confirm they do fall out the sky quite hard. Never known. Alex the chatbot says hydration is important. Core blimey, it's 11:30, everyone. Yes, that all fits. Still, thankfully, I've lost me glue. There it is. You've crashed two aeroplanes. That's more than most people manage a lifetime, although I did see an air crash at an air show once. I have crashed two air... We've had this discussion, Luke. You know, some people say my flight record is scary because I've crashed two aeroplanes. And, you know, they're joking about, oh, I'll never want to get in an aeroplane with you. You've crashed twice. I like to think of it as I have bought... I think that puts a much more positive spin on my flying ability. There we go. So yes, I have crashed two Rob Tutors. Have to go now, see you next year for the first stream. Indeed, Heritage Railway Productions. Thank you for coming. It has been great having you here. Sleep well, my friend. Still safer than a car. Indeed it is. Air travel is the safest form of travel. A lot of people do not believe that. I can understand why. It is, however, completely true. You know, in low light, I see why they added white stripes on these diesels. Sadly, the lag interfered with the antidote. Yesterday, I liked me, and then the lag ended. Maybe the lag hates aircraft. The lag hates my antidotes, obviously. Give me 2 seconds whilst I grab some paint, and we shall continue. Because, of course, I put it away. when we need it. No, we don't need mahogany. We don't need Stroudley olive or improved engine green. Marsh umber. See, the problem here is I've had all these paints upstairs so that the boy could use them on his layout. That'll do, there we go. Not quite, lifts are even safer than an aircraft. Safer by road. How is air travel safer than a car? Statistics, Luke. Less people, percentage-wise, less people get injured in aircraft than they do in cars. Aircraft tend to fly a long way from other aircraft and a long way from things to crash into, so they crash less often. It's a fact shark will only attack you if you are wet. So flown largely automatically controlled by highly skilled and well-paid professional pilots rather than numpties from the general public who just about passed the driving test. Shark will only attack if it too is wet. Those are true facts about sharks. Can confirm. So, yes, Gary the pilot. A lot of people do not like to get, say, that they wouldn't like to get in an aircraft piloted by me because I have crashed 2 aircraft. I like to think of it as I have taken 2 failed aircraft and brought them down safely with no one getting injured. It makes my flying record look much more impressive if you say it like that, you see. So we're going to touch up our paint. There it was. And apply some along the length of the handrails. I like sharks, although there are more sharks in the sea than submarines in aircraft. This is true, James. Okay, did you at least make a good landing? One you can walk away from. I suppose it rather depends on how the aircraft came to be failed in the first place. I did indeed both times make safe landings and everyone walked away. The first aircraft was a mechanical fault. I was flying over the airfield I was landing at the time when the engine gave up. I radioed in the Mayday and suggested that I thought I could bring her down safely on the runway, because I reckoned I had the height. This is the wrong umber for that, touching up that section. We don't want to do. So I flew her around in a circle, got her lined up with the runway, there was a motorway at the end of the runway. So if this was the runway, the motorway was going across that way. I came down over the motorway, still turning just about high enough to... to clear the sirens blaring on the airfield. Emergency vehicles everywhere, so that there would be some wherever I'm at. The wing was the first part of the aircraft to contact the runway. Not ideal. Luckily, rather than collapsing, she bounced slightly, came back up enough that I managed to get her down on her landing gear after that bounce. Both me and the person sat next to me walked away. And from that landing, I would like to infer that my flying ability is not bad. I mean, the second crash was what they call pilot error, but we'll gloss over that. You ever fly the Warthog, Gary? I have not. I have flown a very small number of aircraft, as I was not actually a pilot. I used to hold a private pilot's licence, but I was never officially a pilot. So the number of, especially the number of military aircraft I have flown is quite small and mainly my total list is mainly restricted to propellers. There are some fast jets in there though, and my gosh are they fun. We need you. We need you. Gosh, the last week's action film ending to the stream was rather tame by comparison. It was, but let's be honest, we all have impressive stories. Everyone has one, it's not just me. I don't know what I've done with the ones I was using, but here's my other red-handled one. No, these are too thick. Oh, there's the ones I was using. Problem solved. $11.39. I think my most impressive... Did I miss some of that? Did you serve in the RAF? Yes, very briefly, Javier. Very, very briefly. I was medically discharged, I believe is the correct term. I think my most impressive story was being an extra dressed as a panda on Trigger Happy TV many years ago. God, Trigger Happy TV. Fantastic telly. I have no impressive stories. Most don't even qualify as mildly interesting. Shush, shush, Alex. White Raven. Now there was a pretty engine. I'll take your word for that, Killian. Post a link on Twitter for me. What about, Alex, that time you made it all the way to Uckfield? That was impressive. An impressive story doesn't have to mean that it was something other people would find easy to do. Right then. She needs some windies. I know how hard it would have been for you to come all the way and interact with people, so that is impressive. There they are. She fits. So I'd be very disappointed if these didn't fit, since the flush glazing is produced by Southeastern Finecast, who obviously are the makers of the kit as well. I wonder if I can poke it out and get it to fall out the bottom. And then we shall take our Deluxe Materials glue and glaze. Nope, it would appear that the clog. That's too much. We just want to apply a tiny amount around the outside of the window. Doesn't matter if it goes over the front. It does matter if you push the window all the way through. But this stuff dries clearer than PVA. So you just want to get it in the hole like that. And just like that. Now, yeah, we might make use of your IT skill set at some point. Windows 10 is being very naughty at the moment. Indeed, that can be arranged, Javier. Not a problem. She has coal rails at the rear, so I will not be fitting glazing. So we're going to put some glue and glaze around the top of the cab. Because using super glue would of course risk misting up the windows we've just fitted. We're going to fit the cab roof and find something to get this bit of glue and glaze off. Glue and glaze for the roof, yes. Yes, just because the super glue or similar would risk misting up the windows we've just fitted. The glue and glaze will hold it. The D1, the roof is on with glue and glaze, is fine. It is, isn't it? Of course, now we run into the actual problem of somebody has misplaced their actual PVA for making up mixtures for the back. So I'm actually going to dump some glue and glaze in the bunker. Trust me, it does this job as well. I've used it for this before. Get the camera, boys and girls. Roof saying is a historic moment. That it is. And into that, we're going to sprinkle some real coal. Way more than we want in there. But of course it won't all stick. We're going to knock a couple of lumps off now that we definitely don't want. We're just going to sit our back here whilst I scoop up some coal. It's a field bunker. I might go going all the way to Portsmouth, perhaps. These things could go a bit further than that. The i3s could take the sunny south all the way home on a single load of coal. Super ones could make it to Rugby, I believe. They could. Yes. They'd take the sunny south all the way home. And the LNWR boys looked at her and went, "How did you do that?" And there we have, ladies and gentlemen, saturated ones couldn't do anything like that. No, I'm sure they couldn't. They were converted to superheating eventually. They were indeed. So, at 11:51 on the final stream of 2019, there we have a finished i3. We did it. We should all celebrate with some hydration. But does it run? It does. It's not going to run right now because of the workbench actually isn't plugged in at the moment. But we know it runs. In fact, I made it run the other day actually. I will do my best to get the layout sorted and working so I can get some video of her running through the week. The layout's actually looking really nice at the minute. I've tidied it up. But yeah, the i3 is done, everyone. Be good to have a running video of it now completed. It would indeed. So I can't get much of a run on Oak Hill. There's only 6 foot of scenic area into the station, but I can get something. So next week we shall be looking at our 3D printed wagon from TS Design, Mr. Turbo Snail, Tom, who I shall ensure is here because he will be told. We shall also balance out some of this rather nice Brighton work we've been doing lots of recently with some South Eastern and Chatham. I've got a few South Eastern and Chatham locos. They're all very nice, ready to run locos. What they need though is a little bit of detailing. Some real coal added to their bunkers. Some etched numbers to replace the printed on numbers they all come with. So we shall have some fun with those next week. Sat with me just in case. What would be really great would be to get some crews fitted to them. I believe I actually have some crews specifically done for the P-Class. So it would be great to get some crews in them as well. So there are many plans. In 5 minutes to go of tonight's stream, we have finished the i3, ladies and gentlemen. We did it. She will get... Do you use Model U for crew? I do not. One of these pots next to me is full of crews. Let's have a look. That's track painting. That's not heavy enough. Oh, that one's quite heavy. That could be the one that's full of crews. It is. So let's see if I do have a P-Class one. I do. I have a crew from Masterpiece specifically for the Hatton's P-Class. So one of them will get this. those to build. Of course, we've seen those a couple of times on stream before. From the Masterpiece range, I also have a set for a terrier and 2 different sets for Brighton Atlantics to go in my 2 different Brighton Atlantics. Do approve of nice house. What they need is a nice old outside framed 240 to pilot them. Oh, that would be wonderful, Killian. That would be absolutely fantastic. Anyone got a 3D print available? Do approve of a nice old outside frame 240s, indeed. Bit of thing for 240 tender engines in general, as with 442 tanks. Yeah, I like all 442 engines, James. Well, there's a couple out of proportion ones. Cough, I1, cough. But Atlantics in general are very nice engines. Well done, sir. Looks fantastic. Thank you, Christopher. And so, let's clear the future out the way. After all, that's next year. And let's bring in our slightly older sister. Can't go wrong for nice Atlantic generally. No, exactly, James. Is the coal space in a tender called a bunker? No, Luke. A bunker is what the engine has if it doesn't have a tender. The tender on a tender is called a tender. What about the I1s? The I1s, generally, their boilers look too small to me. They look out of proportion. Remember everyone to like, comment and subscribe, says Alex the chatbot. And yes, it would be great to see a big swathe of likes for the i3 now that she is done. Twins double i3s, indeed. So, Southeastern Finecast kit with scale link wheels, formerly known as Romfords. Wheels kit with Hornby wheels. Right, tell the Midland fans. They might not like that. So, yes, there we are. And there is midnight. Boilers were too small, which is why I didn't do very well. The Iron is surf. It's what I like. I like the video. I'd like this video now for the finishing of the i3 if I hadn't already liked it earlier. Thank you, James. The thought is much appreciated. So, yes, everyone, that is midnight. With a completed i3. I'd like to thank you all for coming. You have been absolutely fantastic, as always. I am I'm so glad you've been on this journey with the i3 with me. I look forward to our future journeys. Obviously, the next big one is going to be the Southeastern and Chatham D-Class, which is the wheels kit with the cast chassis. So we can look at the differences between the older kits to the new ones that have been revamped by Southeastern Finecast. And I am really looking forward to that. So yes, thank you for coming, everyone. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas. I hope you have a fantastic New Year. And I shall see you in 2020. But for now, that is all she wrote. Good night.